we live in a simulation, and I knew this um, basically when I was 22, when I had my enlightenment, but I didn't fully understand how real it is. So everybody knows The Matrix, the movie. That was actually the same year that movie came out. It was 1999. So that was good because the movie, The Matrix, helped me understand more tangible what it actually means that reality isn't real. So, but that's not new. Like Maya, the Mayans, they they knew Maya means dream world. It's not real. It's like a dream. It's like a hologram or like a video game, like a very realistic 3D video game, but it's so real that it appears to us like reality, like physical matter. If I touch this cup, it's it's an actual cup, right? It's not made up. It's I can touch it. I can place it. It stays here. If I move it, it's here. If I move it, it's here, and it stays, right? So we trust the simulation so much so that we don't question it. And for not enlightened people, it's, I mean, you need to be really fucking enlightened to understand that it's not real, which was my case, right? But you don't accidentally just arrive there. I had to search for years, hardcore. You need to be like a hardcore truth seeker junkie. I went to university to study philosophy to figure out what the truth is, and I studied every philosopher there is, right? From Socrates to the newest uh, um, stuff available. Greek philosophy, modern American logic philosophy, all of it. Kant, Hegel, Nietzsche, all of it. And then I realized, well, that's all not it. And then I found something completely different outside of university, which was a satsang, a meeting. And I didn't know anything about it, but I was so desperate that I just went there by myself. And then I was so ready, so ripe to hear what she said that it instantly showed me. She basically just told me to look inside, and I didn't look there. And then I found it. I realized it. I felt it. I became it. You see, like studying philosophy is like studying a menu in a restaurant, but being enlightened is eating. Yeah, if you're enlightened, enlightenment is a state of being. It's eating the food. It is being. It is an experience. And studying philosophy, thinking about philosophy, debating, talking, reading, that's just studying the menu. But studying the menu is not eating. So by studying the menu, you're never gonna eat. It will never be eating. Yeah. Eating is eating. Yeah. When you bite into something and you eat it, that's the sensation of eating. But just looking at a menu, thinking what you're gonna order, what's the best food to order, that's not eating. All right? And philosophers get this mixed up. Studying the menu is something completely different. And by studying more menus, different menus from different times and different cultures, studying the Greek menu and the German menu, and you know, that's not gonna help you eat something. So you need to arrive at the point where you eat, which is the real experience firsthand. And this experience, it's not something, it's not the truth, it's actually you. So I was looking for the truth, but I found myself. And it turned out to be the same thing. There's nothing else. So there is only truth. There's only self. There's only consciousness. All right. So consciousness is the only thing that's real. Everything else is just illusion. All right. This is not what I'm saying. This is what everyone says that's enlightened in every culture, even 5,000 years ago. But it's the same. You can go to every culture, it's the same. At the bottom of the bottom line of every religion is the same. It's all the same. In ancient Egypt is all the same. Yeah. All right. So this is just to make the stage to what I'm gonna tell you next. So I watched a couple of or a lot of glitch in the matrix videos. Now this is really interesting because it proves that we live in a simulation, that this is a matrix, very tangible. I haven't seen stuff like this except for the Mandela effect, but the stories are incredible. They're just, oh my God, the stories are nuts. And it just shows you that it's not theory, because obviously this simulation has glitches, it has problems, it's not stable, in other words. And there's something off. There are mix-ups. They're duplicates. They're identical duplicates of stuff, of cups. Very specific design, yeah, or a turtle tray, like a turtle dish. It's like a little dish in the size of a turtle. It's very unusual. It's like you will never find that object anywhere, right, for sale in a store, because it's so particular. But then even the residue of the sticker and spots were identical. So it had the residue in the same place as the original. So it was actually a duplicate. But then there's a mix up with duplicates. Then you have like two left gloves instead of a left and a right glove. And there and the name on it is also on it. Like she wrote mama on the glove, but now there's two left gloves with both mama written on it, but no right glove, right? So, and it just goes on and on. You can't explain that away, because in philosophy you could, in spirituality you could, because you could say, well, you can't prove that, right? But when you have two left gloves, how are you gonna debate that away, right? It's nuts. But it's even more bizarre because it's not just those objects. Like if you lose something, okay, but if you have it double, that's a problem. If you have the identical cup, the identical mug, the identical design mug, the identical turtle tray, identical residues stains, that's insane. Um, but it gets worse. Like the gas station thing. So they were driving off the highway to go pee on a gas station and fill up the tank with gas on their way home, and then it was just one straight road. And then they went to the gas station and she went to the bathroom, and then they were standing there and they were like paralyzed because the guy at the counter, he was like just staring. He was like an NPC character that wasn't interacting. He was just staring, standing staring, but not at them, but like through them, like in a video game. Like you have an NPC that is just, he's like a placeholder character. He doesn't do anything. And and then, well, that's weird, but that's not the point. Like the whole store was filled with products with very old brands that went out of business, brands that are not sold in a long, long time, with very old labels, like old labels. And we used to have labels like simple, that was just like the price, and you can you have like a label, I don't know how you call that, like a label machine, a mechanical one, and then you just and then every product gets that label, but it's a very simple label. It's not a barcode label, it's not a modern label. And these are very old labels. They don't exist for decades. Brands that are, she never saw those brands, and it was full of dust. So the entire interior of the gas station was filled with old products, old labels she's never seen before, unknown brands, unknown brands with of products with very old labels on it, covered in dust. This is impossible in a reality. You would never find a gas station like that. This is like, if you would need to time travel, even that doesn't make sense, because then it wouldn't be dusty. You see, it's very difficult to explain that away. Like it's like there is a part of the simulation that is not being viewed. It's not loaded like correctly. It has a placeholder, old, just a section is defective, and it's collecting dust. It is aging. It's like a pocket in the simulation that is aging, and it's collecting dust, but it's not part of any reality, right? Nobody's using that gas station because it's outside of a regular timeline that is being used. But then it got loaded into a reality timeline that was being used. So she could go to the toilet, and then when she left, like they were scared, of course. and they ran off. Like basically, they drove off as fast as possible back onto the highway, right? And she knew the way back where they came from, but then it was just a straight road again, and there was no highway. She couldn't exit that road. And then the gas station came again. So it was like a loop that she couldn't get out. She couldn't drive out. And then they drove by, and the same guy behind the counter was staring just outside the gas station, like staring into nowhere, not looking at them, but like looking through them, which is very weird. Like a placeholder character, right? An NPC is not really looking at you; it's just staring into nothing. And then they drove past, and then the road still continued, and no highway exit. There was no way for her to get back to the highway. And then the gas station appeared again, a third time. So the loop continued, but this time the gas station the lights were off, the signs were off, and it was boarded up. So the gas station basically closed down. It aged to the point that it closed down. It it probably got insolvent, and then it got closed and boarded up. It was no longer in use, you see? I mean, this is beyond crazy. And then they continued, and after 3 minutes, the exit appeared to the highway, and they went back on the highway. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is very, very difficult to explain away. And this is just one story, and another story where a girl was on a skiing trip, and she went behind a mountain, and then she came back and everybody was gone. I mean, everyone in the entire ski area was empty, no people. And then she walked down for an hour, there was no one. The main area where they arrived was gone, there was nothing, and it got dark. And then she found a light and an entrance, a stair down to an underground subway station. The subway they used to go to that skiing area, but it was a station in the middle of nowhere, which doesn't make any sense. And she took the subway, and she came back to the place with and all her people, her group. She found her group again, right? And they weren't even like surprised that she was gone half of the day. You see what I'm saying? Which doesn't make sense. Like, people would be freaked out if one of your girls would just disappear without any reason or explanation for hours. You see what I'm saying? And then she just reappeared, right? People would freak out. It's like, where have you been? We were searching for you, right? Teachers would be freaked out when they lose a student. Are you kidding me? But none of that happened. You see what I'm saying? It's the same, and there are like many examples of this, obviously. This is hard to explain away in a reality. If you believe in reality, this is very difficult to explain away. right? If you say, well, it's a simulation, you can explain it. There must have been like a really big mistake in viewing, in showing the simulation correctly. There was some kind of a timeline mix up in this area, like a pocket, like a section. A section got loaded wrong. The reality changed. The people disappeared. But not a gas station. I'm getting mixed up now. The subway station remained. So it was an overlapping reality. She still could use the the train station. I'm getting the shit mixed up now. Um, she still could use the subway that was overlapping with her reality. And this is how she got back into her old reality by using the subway. She could exit the wrong section of the simulation by using the subway that leads that was the overlap that leads to her real simulation with her group. You see what I'm saying? So if this happens, anything can happen. And there are many more examples. In a simulation, anything is possible. It's basically just code, right? You think the Matrix is just a movie, it isn't. It's a documentary. It's code. You can change, like if you have code, everything has a code. Everything is defined by code. If you see the tree and it has green leaves, you can change the color of the leaves by entering a different code. And then you just type in a different code, and then the leaves, they're blue. All the leaves. It's just really just switching out a number, pressing enter, and then all the leaves, tick, they're all green. It's that easy. Because it's a simulation, because it's not real in the first place. It's not like they're switching out the trees or the leaves. No, there are no trees. There are no leaves. It just appears like that. And so the people who have this glitch in the matrix experience, they want an explanation. That's the explanation. That's the explanation. It's easy to have these changes, or you have a doppelganger, or you see yourself like a woman sees herself in the Walmart store. It's her and 3 kids and a boy, and she had a miscarriage, and that was that boy. 15 years younger. So she appeared in the same Walmart with a timeline mix-up with her 4 kids being super happy. And it's an overlap in her simulation where she only has 3 kids. You see? Why is simulation not stable? Why are there timeline mix-ups? I don't know. Why are there duplicates? I don't know. But the explanation why it's happening, it's because you have you have a simulation, and you have simultaneous simulations at the same time in different dimensions, in different timelines. And when there is an overlap or a mix up, and the simulation gets rendered wrong, or a section gets rendered wrong, like in a video game that is coded improperly, you have a section that is not functioning inside of the game because it's not loading right. And then stuff like this happens with the gas station and with the ski trip and with the woman in the Walmart. Mm. If you have simultaneous simulation running at the same time, then you can explain it very easily. There was a reality when she didn't have the miscarriage, so she was a family of four, right? She had five. She had four kids, and that got, for some reason, rendered into her timeline by mistake in the same Walmart. Her and her kids being 15 years younger. So that just proves that time doesn't exist. There's no time. It just appears that way. And it's very convincing, right? You have the leaves, they're green, and in autumn they're brown, they're red, and then they fall off, and then you have winter. So this is extremely convincing that time exists, because how would you otherwise explain that? The simulation is extremely convincing in simulating time by making it appear that stuff ages, or that leaves, turn color, and then they fall and then they grow back. It's super, super convincing. But the reality, the fact, the truth is that the time doesn't exist. Uh, Inside of the simulation, it appears like time, but there's no time. Time is simulated, just like reality is simulated. You see, so if time doesn't real, if time isn't real, if time is simulation, and matter and reality is simulation, then it's very easy to explain how you can have mix-ups like this, how you can have duplicates, how you can have people appearing in your timeline that are you 15 years younger. It can easily explain why there was nobody on the skiing, on the mountain in the skiing trips, why there was no people, because it was at a time where there were no people. It was a reality when nobody was skiing. Mm. And she got, for some reason, mixed up into that reality, right? And with the duplicates, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The only reason is that you have an overlapping reality where, for some reason, one cup goes missing, and that just gets added to the other reality by mistake. And then you have two identical cups, you have two identical mugs, you have two identical turtle trays with the same spots and sticker residue in the same place, because it was actually the same reality, just overlapping. And in one reality, the mug got missing, and it got added to the alternative reality by mistake, and then she ends up with two cups and two turtles, and in a simultaneous simulation she loses both of these items, you see. It's not new for me, but it's weird. It's weird when you see it this tangible. When you see it this tangible, it's so crazy. And we take this reality for granted because we're used to it. We used to waking up in the same spot, in the same house, with the same people, having the same experience, and we take it for granted. But it's not. It can change any second. And it's super scary for people who are not enlightened. It's terrifying, right? Because now you see firsthand nothing is real, but you don't have an explanation why. Why isn't it real? Right? Like, what is going on? How can this happen? This can't be real, right? That's what people are saying. And the explanation is, well, it isn't. It isn't real. It can happen because it's not real. That's the explanation. The explanation is none of it is real. It never has been real. It never will be real. And the simulation, the matrix made a mistake. It had a glitch, and you have the proof of the glitch. And you saw behind the curtain that it wasn't real. But you don't have the spiritual or philosophical understanding why it isn't real, or the fact that it isn't real. The Mayans call it Maya. It's a dream world. The Sanskrit, the Indians, they call it samsara. Samsara is dream world. It's a dream. It's not real. A dream can change. A dream can be illogical. There's no like logic to a dream. The strangest shit can happen in a dream that doesn't happen in reality. But the problem is reality is not reality. It's also a dream. There's just dreams. We are just dreaming. We are dreaming reality. It's weird. I know. It's tough. It's hard. And maybe I wish it would be different, but it isn't. And thank God I got like enlightened when I was 22, which is super, super early or young, but it saved my life because I couldn't stand not knowing the truth. It was unacceptable for me to live a life not knowing the truth. I wouldn't do it. That's why I was so stubborn. That's why I was such a truth-seeking junkie. By any means necessary, no matter what the price. And you pay a price. You pay a very high price for finding the truth, right? This is nothing new, right? Jesus dying on the cross and then being resurrected, or he didn't die in the first place. That kind of story is, You need to die to live. You need to die to find the truth, right? It's very difficult to understand for a regular person that is not a truth junkie, right? Um, and I don't think it's healthy to be a truth junkie. You just, should enjoy your life. Um, but for some people, um, it's not acceptable, and I'm one of them. And uh, the truth will set you free. I guess so, but the truth will also it it will destroy your reality. It will destroy your fantasy about reality. But the interesting thing is now people are seeing it without studying philosophy or, going on a spiritual journey. I went to many teachers and retreats, learning from many different spiritual gurus, so to speak, to really get a deeper experience and a deeper understanding about what the fuck is going on here. Who am I? Who am I really? Yeah. And when you experience yourself, which is the truth, that is like, oh, you see, it's like, oh, finally, now I know. It's like when Truman is touching the painted on sky, it's not the sky. It's just a studio. It's just a Hollywood studio. It's a painted on sky. It's a wall that got clouds painted on. And that's like, oh fuck, yeah. Now I know. Now I know what's going on. Now I understand why I feel so weird, right? Mm, that's the same with the Enlightenment. You understand what's fake and you understand that you are real. And when you understand that you are the only thing that's real, the consciousness is the only thing that's real, and that's you, then everything else becomes irrelevant. It's secondary. It's not um it turns the perspective in the right proportion. Like your view of reality was heavily distorted. Yeah, we are born in a world, and our view of reality is very distorted. It's very twisted. It's very off. It's very wrong, and there's a lot of suffering that comes with it because you identify with yourself and stuff. But when you're enlightened, that perspective gets, corrected. It goes back to the original intended perspective, which is you understand it's not real. You understand it's not serious. You understand it's a simulation. And you understand you are real. You are consciousness. You are the truth. Yeah? Jesus said, you are the light. The light is the consciousness. That's you. So no matter how many times the matrix glitches and it freaks you out, it's irrelevant because it's not relevant in the first place. It wasn't real in the first place. Like, search who you are and get that first-hand experience about who you are, right? You can't bend the spoon. Yeah, you can't. There is no spoon. Yeah, there's only you. Yeah, forget about the explanations and the matrix and the glitches in the matrix and the duplicates, and the weird gas stations, um, and the reality loops and the overlaps and the timeline mess ups and mix ups, because it's irrelevant anyway, as hard as it sounds. I know this is tough because it makes it appear like nothing has meaning, but nothing has really meaning in that heavy meaning sense. We wanna make meaning, or we wanna have meaning, or we need meaning, but you don't get it from a simulation. Like, if you depend on a simulation to give you meaning, to give you reality, to give you truth, you're gonna be disappointed. Because it's just something a simulation can't give you. It's just something that you can give yourself. I'm MINIMAN, grow trying, and go. Focus on yourself.